Hello there. I'm Gabriel Nekashea, author of Orion's Belt, King of Orion, and author of a bunch of other nonsense with more coming. Um, Eve Echoes is ostensibly a pay to win game. If you spend money on it, you can get big fancy battleships and do top tier content and race to the very end of the MMO and just like never play again. You can pay not to play, which is really silly. But you win, and the reason you win is because of what are called high-sec islands. Back when the game was young, when they first discovered these things, it was kind of a big deal. Um, they call them in-game in the map filters. I'm going to show you here. They're called high-efficiency encounter systems, and you can go into star charts. You can find them on the filters. Whatever, you're an adult, I assume. You can figure that out. But if you go to these high sec islands, you can actually go whale watching. Like, you can find players who have spent a lot of ISK and money and stuff in real life just to passively farm or let the AI within the game farm for them. These are the same folks who will complain about botters all the time, by the way. They're the folks who will whine about people using base ventures automated to go mine out in the boonies of nullsec, which is silly because there's passive play endorsed by NetEase, then there's passive play that's like, oh no, it's bad, even though they're making pennies compared to these jokers in these high sec islands. But if you're a little free to play player like me, you can rig up a ship to go watch them, to go mess with them. Here is one of my Explorer destroyers. I call it the. I've modified it to use a red scanner, and to try and support these whales. I want to help them rat. I'm here in Akti, which is right next to Amane. There's two high-sec islands next to each other, point 0.5 and point 0.6. The point 0.6 is a high-sec location. It gives better rewards, from what I understand, from the encounter mission, whereas the point 0.5 will have lower tier missions drop. There's other ones I like to go to. Unpass is my favorite because it's the closest to Jita. It's spelled UNPAS. I call it Force Support. If you go there, there's usually 3 or 4 folks ratting. A lot of times they'll be in prize ships like the Canyu prototype or Praxis. And they've got cool skins that you get. That's one of the rewards that you get for being an Omega for a period of time, right? If you're a free-to-play player, that's really hard to get, but if you drop a little cash and, like, spend the Skrilla to get the goods, those are just consistent, overpriced, ridiculously overpriced prize ships. Their IP is insane, and their capabilities are just enticing enough to be like, alright, let's try it. But it's a trap. It's very much a trap. They're so generally useful and, like, so well-rounded as to be without a point. Anyway, if you go to these high-sec islands, I've already scanned in Akti previously, but I'm going to do a red scan again and see if I can find any ratters. Nope. Alright, I'm going to jump over to Amane and try it there. If I can find ratters with my red scan, I'm going to show you how to warp in on them and then just watch, see what they've got going on. Most missions don't drop loot. Used to be you could just farm loot off of whales if you knew where to look, which made it really easy to gather ISK without spending any money whatsoever. But NetEase reduced the drop percentage for mission runners to prevent that sort of play. However, you can still go whale watching. And if they're using AI to mine, like within the game, they'll usually have it programmed. I don't know how it works because money. They'll usually have it worked to where they run away. Oh, this one only has 3 systems in it, but we'll see if we're lucky for any of them. Interference from blah blah. Here we go. Come on. Alright, while the scan is running, I'll hold it up. Hey, we got one. We got 2 signal waves. Now, other people have talked about like how to do these scans. You do them often enough, you get pretty quick at it. Alright, we've got a rattlesnake. I'm going to show you. We've got a rattlesnake in that system. Or not system, that anomaly. Now I warped to 100 kilometers by holding on that and dragging it out. Let's see what we got. Now, if I'm terribly unlucky, it'll land me right amidst all of the reds, and I'll have a moment to run for my life before it blows. Okay, looks like the rattlesnake's just chilling there. Let's take a look. Isn't that a dope nano? Isn't that sweet? He's not running either, which means he was either using AI and ran out of goods. The mission he was running was Project Serpent Hunting. You can see the missions that they're running. You can't see them unless they're your missions from the base, or from, like, outside. But if you want to go back, you just go into Star Charts, Solar System, Signals, and then the Combat tab, which is really frustrating to jump through all those things, especially if you're hunting players. But I've got another one. Let's see if this guy is actually ratting. It's a Raven Navy issue. I'm a warp to 100 kilometers off. The odds of me landing amidst a bunch of NPCs with this sort of setup are really low because I'm not jumping from a common waypoint. I'm jumping from an unknown anomaly, or at least an unknown to other players, which makes it a lot easier for me to play safe. This one is also done ratting. There's no little dudes, but he's got what looks like a nanocore, and if you watch, it looks like he's turning and burning. He's going to warp off. So his AI is programmed to avoid encounters. He's going to run for his life. From little old me, I am no threat whatsoever. I'm here to heal and help. And he's gone. If you want to see big fancy ships in the wild and like get a look for how they change and move and stuff, that's one of the ways you can do it. And it's fun. And if you catch them in the act of ratting with AI, you deny them the farm. It's creep deny from League of Legends, basically, writ large. And it's really unfair. Basically, any free-to-play player can interfere with Whale's farm. So if there's folks out there that you know are ratting with AI, like, you don't need to let them do that. You don't need to destroy your enemy to deny them the services they gain. You can just go and observe. And if they're skittish enough, they'll run. This is true in real life as well. Denial of service is actually one of the main benefits of a lot of different military craft, military weapons. Hacking, specifically, but that's unreliable. Generally, warfare aimed at strategic assets such as the weapons themselves. If you destroy ammunition, you deny the weapons that bad state actors arguably would use for whatever they're intending to do. If you corner the markets on those specific weapons, you can pick and choose, which you can do in EVE Echoes. There's nobody really like farming ammo. Everybody's so focused at the top end and like playing the modules game that they're not paying attention to a lot of the cheaper options for better effects. Like, it's never been a better time to play as an alpha because there's nobody exploiting alpha systems or exploiting the whales. Anyway, I hope you have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.